Welcome to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling. You are about to discover impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you, so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Be sure you visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now tune in, get ready, and enjoy the journey of emerging as a leader of exception in the 21st century.
Welcome, everyone, to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast. I'm your host, Vicki Noethling, coming to you from Roswell, Georgia. The goal of this podcast is to bring topics and guests that will empower you to become that confident leader and take your business and your life to the next level. Today, I am excited to be talking with Jacki Leahy. And let me tell you about Jacki. Jacki is a renowned expert in the B2B Revenue Operations, recognized for her deep knowledge and passion for building innovative solutions in the Salesforce ecosystem. With over 9 years of experience in tech startups, Jacki has been a featured guest on numerous podcasts, sought-after speaker at industry events, and a bright light on your LinkedIn feed. As an authority in human dynamics, Jacki brings a unique perspective to the table. She is known for her ability to tap into people's masterpieces, making an invaluable resource for anyone seeking insights into influencing without explicit authority. When she's not sharing her expertise on podcasts, this geriatric millennial is building Activate the Magic, her fractional RevOps agency, or scrolling TikTok to maintain her honorary Gen Z status. Love it.
Thank you.
Today, we're going to talk about feminine brilliance unleashed, transforming workplace dynamics. Please join me in welcoming Jacki Leahy. Jacki, so excited to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
So much in my wheelhouse of what I'd like to talk about. I want to provide this platform so that people, especially women entrepreneurs and small business owners, as well as, women in the workforce. I spent 40 plus years in corporate and always had to struggle and work hard to get resources to help me get ahead because nobody was really offering you a hand up often. So I love to have people like you come on and just give some great advice and insights. But before we get into Feminine Brilliance Unleashed, please share, where do you live? Where do you call home?
Boston, Mass. I live right in the Back Bay, downtown Boston.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. One place on my list to go see.
You got to come.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So whenever we start this, I like to have everybody, you talk about you've been doing this 9 years and all this, but Jacki didn't start out doing this, I'm sure, because she's not 10 years old. So tell us a little bit about what this journey's been like for you that's taken you to this passion, to this really mission of what you want to make your mark in life.
Yeah. I have not had a very easy time figuring out myself and my career. I've been fired, I think, 6 times. Just definitely a struggle. Out of college, I was actually a kindergarten teacher. And then after 3 years, if you talk to a lot of teachers, kind of the burnout between like 2 to 5 years happens. I burned out after 3 years and had probably like 10 careers after that: real estate, helping my family business, personal banker. And then I was really excited about tech startups. So I pivoted to that in 2016. And the compelling thing is that you can never have it all figured out.
Yeah.
right? Everything else I could like crack the code. Okay, I figured out the lesson plans. I can just do this for the next 20 years. But I like to always have something to figure out.
A
And
challenge.
when it comes to tech, and
Mm-hmm.
specifically my little niche, which is basically like the technical operations behind like a sales team in
Mm-hmm.
tech, there's always something to figure out. There's always a new use case, especially right now, all the AI and like no code, it's coming out at a breakneck speed, and it can be overwhelming, but it's
Mm-hmm.
so exciting.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. There's to me, and I'm 65, so when I started in my career in business, there were no computers. So if you can imagine, the first electric computers and Selectric and all those things. And then the first time I saw a Mac, the little square ones that most kids
Mm-hmm.
don't even know, I just was like, oh, please teach me, teach me.
Yeah.
And it just changed my life. It
Mm.
just really did. And I did not have a college degree until I was 50. So having been in that beginning stages of this wonderful change in our lives from technology made me be able to advance in my career without that degree, and
Mhm.
and really learn a lot of life lessons as I went. But it was okay, I don't know how to do this and there's nobody to ask. So you got to figure it out yourself. It was very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. And I think what's happening right now is what I'm seeing like on LinkedIn, and when I talk to people, kind of like a resignation, like, oh, I'm not good at the AI stuff. I'm not good at that. And it's almost like people are taking themselves out already. And it's like, no, ma'am, nobody knows what we're doing. Like,
Mhm.
I'm
I
in,
know.
I'm in a constant state of befuddledness. I have no idea what I'm doing either. Let's figure it out together. And I think that's the coolest thing between
Hmm.
and like coming up earlier in my career. There's so many really cool like Discord and Slack communities where everyone is just so eager to pay it forward and
Hmm.
pour into me, right? So figuring it out together, it is so cool and so fun. Yeah.
Well, and I think it's a really good lesson too, um, on just how is it that we really have to have that mindset that it's okay to fail. It's okay to not really know where you're going or how you're getting there, because it will all work out.
Yeah.
And I think this lesson that failure is okay is really an important one for the audience to remember. And that's why I love all of this new ever-changing world that we live in with AI and other technologies, is because everybody's just learning as they go. So it's not like you're behind the eight ball, if you will.
Mm-mm. You're
Yeah.
not. You're
So
not. I promise you.
yeah, so talk a little bit about um, really, how do you start to transform the workplace dynamics? Because the workplace that we knew just 5 years ago is different now. It's trying to get back to the way it was, but I don't think it ever will.
No, I think some permanent shifts have
Yeah.
really taken place. And I think what we're seeing is sort of the pendulum swing back, and where people are like,
Hmm.
are return to office and blah, blah, blah. But some fundamental truths have arrived where, hey, we can actually be just as, if not more, productive at home. uh,
Yeah.
right? And it's more human and more fun. And you didn't see a dip in your revenue. So anything you're saying about we need to return to office, we know is a lie. And
Yeah.
the difference now is we're communicating like peer to peer. So we're no longer like captive to the ruling class, in the ruling narrative. And it's really exciting.
For sure.
Yeah.
So you have spent a lot of time with startups, and as you said, startups is really exciting. It's a very much of a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
And especially when it's tech, again, as you said, because
Yeah.
it's a new frontier. What advice do you typically give to someone as they're just starting out?
Ooh, my big piece of advice is you're either learning or you're earning, and know which chapter you're in. So when I made my pivot to tech, I was 33,
Wow.
right? So, and I had actually just had my best quarter in real estate ever. I had sold millions of dollars in condos in Boston, and like it or not, the only job I could actually get was an entry-level sales role. It's called BDR, business development representative. Sometimes it's called SDR, sales development representative. And if you're in tech, you know, like there's a associated with that. So it really was a huge slice of humble pie.
Yeah.
And like pay cut. Let's be honest, like more than 50% pay cut. And I think a lot of people just aren't willing to do that. And so it's like, would you rather take on that pain for a year or two, or for 20 years? Like low grade for the rest of your life, or like, oh, this is going to suck a little bit. And I knew that I was in a chapter of learning. And so what I focused on was, you know what? I used to, in real estate, I was literally doing SEO and Zillow, digital marketing, all the way through getting the certificate of occupancy. Talk about a full sales cycle, doing all the things. Where now all I had to do is like talk to somebody and set a meeting. Talk to somebody, set a meeting. I only had to focus on that one thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like a vacation. And so I could really hone in on that, learn as much as I could, podcasts, webinars, coffee chats, talking to people, reading books, just eye on the prize, like knowing what I'm about for this chapter, and then excel. And then all of a sudden I'm in the next chapter. Okay, what am I focusing on now? So that's, and like really don't worry about the titles or the money. Like find your niche, find, like, you're not, even if we only like things that we're good at. So like beyond what you like what do you feel compelled to do? Like sometimes it's the most frustrating things we actually will be really good at. Like it's kind of like I'm calling you in, sirening you in for a reason. So mine was Salesforce. I was running a BDR team at a 10-person startup, and somebody had to figure out how to do the back end, like the admin panel of Salesforce, which is like the CRM, customer relationship manager software that pretty much everyone in tech uses. And talk about, I didn't know where I was. Like up was down was up. Like it took me, I didn't even know what a sandbox was. That is like a playground environment. So you're not just like pushing everything to a live environment. I didn't even know what that was until like a year in. So like, talking, did not know.
You needed a good project manager to teach you. That's what I did for a long time.
Well, that's the thing. At a startup, there is not that adult supervision, right? And now looking back, I'm like, what? Like in the solutions that I did, I mean, pretty ingenious, but definitely not best practice. And ... I'm now building an agency that I would have loved to have had back then, right? So something affordable, on demand, month to month, with real experience.
Support.
Support. Adults in the room. Vicki, where were you when I needed you?
I know. Definitely. And so you say that you work with startups. So when they get out of that startup phase, do you still provide any kind of guidance or support for them, or do you Do you say, have a nice day? I mean,
Off you
how does that
go.
go?
No, I think the cool thing about what I'm building is I really like I lean into us being fractional and temporary. Like I really want to be a bridge from where you are to where you want to go.
Hmm.
Like a little like power pack that helps your little rocket go from here to here and
Hmm.
offboard you, right? So either that's helping you hire a team internally
Right.
or
Get a
um,
project manager to
get a
carry.
project manager or even an agency that's more used to more complex bureaucratic situations. Once a company gets like over 220 employees, things start to get like that.
Yeah, need HR and all those fun things.
Yeah, exactly. And there's plenty of amazing agencies that I can introduce you to. But I think we really excel at the like, we don't know what's going on. We'll come and like wrangle the chaos and get you, I like to say, not ideal, adequate. Because everything we're building is going to be ripped out in a year if we do our job right. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because your business, as it grows, it pivots and things change, and you have to. That's the thing about anybody that starts a business. You get married, and this is your baby, and what you came up with, is you think going to take you forever, but no, it's just like a baby grows.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you got to buy them new shoes and new pants and things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think that's a really good way to think about it, that it's just that evolution of growth that you want as you scale.
Yeah, really looking at as a series of chapters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's a really good analogy too, because in the first several chapters it's just setting up the foundation stuff, the who, what, when, where, why, and then you get into the plot and the intrigue and all the things, the fun stuff and the scary stuff comes in.
Yeah. I
And
dip out before the scary stuff happens.
awesome. So, what are some practical tips or strategies for generating opportunities as a consultant?
Yeah. Um, it's I like to call it the giver game.
Nice.
You know, I don't know what happened, but there's something in me that's competitive about how much I can contribute. Like I will fight people to reply first in a Slack question. Like, how do I do? If I have the answer, I want to give them a screen recording, like a how to, like I want them and for free. I don't,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not like I set out as, oh, I'm going to do this. That way one day I'll start an agency and I'll have plenty of business. Like, I think the best ones at it are just like those natural givers.
Yeah,
And I'm
that's
sorry, but
right.
mostly women.
Yes, that's true.
We want to contribute and pour into people. And the more I do that, the more opportunities come in. And I even when I was a real estate agent, I used to say I put energy into a box and deals pop out. I no correlation. It's a black box. I don't know what's happening in there. But a couple months ago, my monthly recurring revenue dipped because we had graduated a couple long-term projects.
Right.
Help them hire internally. Off you go. But then, oh my gosh, my revenue was down. I was like, oh no. And it was really tempting to get into that like scary spiral of I'm never gonna make another dollar again. As
Right.
as you know. And I just kind of like slapped myself and I, repeated when in doubt, focus out. When in doubt, focus out. And I went trolling on forums to see what questions I could answer.
Mm-hmm.
I was at a conference and anytime I met someone who had a early stage startup, I was like, let me help you set up your HubSpot. They're like, oh, it's really overwhelming. I don't want to. No, book an hour. Here's my Calendly, book an hour. I'll get on with it. They're like, I can't afford it. I'm like, no, I'm doing this for friendship. Please, like, let me. And when, I'm back up. I'm back up on top.
Awesome. Such a great advice. So, how has the 2022 SaaSacre
SaaSacre.
SaaSacre. SaaSacre. So that was the massacre as a SaaSacre. Great.
Yes. Yeah.
Impacted the revenue ops tech space, sales space.
Oh my goodness. So going into 2022, I had actually been recruited for Vicki, my dream job. There's a consulting company called Winning by Design. Their founder, Jacki Leahy, he's like a physicist, an engineer, applied to like SaaS metrics, and it's just so good. And they recruited me to build their RevOps practice. So they have like sales consulting and all these things, and they were like, want you to build the practice that will then implement our recommendations. Oh my gosh, like the salary was like, there was a bidding war, so my salary was up. Like I was like, I have arrived. So I started in February 2022. Right around like March, April, May, SaaS as an industry just went sideways. And because B2B SaaS is sort of like a closed environment where we all sell to each other. So the minute like funding dries up, or like the interest rate went up, so funding dried up and everything shrinks. And because we're selling to each other, it was just like a really quick tight spiral.
Wow.
And fear begets more fear, and it's just like, and oh yeah, revenue projections like across the board just went in tank. And you know, I was not generating revenue. I was a long-term play project, and they didn't want to do it anymore, which yeah, I get it. So being, shoot away from my dream job in like September 2022.
It must have been something about 2022 because
Yep.
in 2022 I took on a project was supposed to be 6 to 9 months, and it went to a year. And I don't normally do project management anymore, but this was like a dream project that I had wanted to do in 1998 and 2014, and it finally got approved, and I'm leading the team. And then they had 2022 came in, they were like, we got to eliminate high cost people. And I was in 10 days off the payroll. I was like,
no!
So I could appreciate having a holy crap feeling.
Crap. Yeah. And like, I had been fired, like my whole career, like this was the mess. This was the message of the mess. This was the culmination of all my trials and tribulations. And it was just like, wait, no.
It's like, oh, and it is a come to Jesus moment.
Right.
And, I had a lot of work to try to get out of that hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we love getting those great big salaries, but then, and I just didn't, and as I said, I could have just got another PM job, but I just knew that what I do now was more aligned with who I am. And so I thought, no, I'm going to focus on this and what I do.
And what was it that, like, for me, it was almost like this other voice that spoke to me.
Oh yeah. And it's the feeling that you have, with this, as a speaker, a trainer, a coach, talking, I'd coach on leadership as well as being comfortable in this, speaking in this environment, online and in person, and helping, the piece that you talked about of helping others. As a project lead, I can guide people, but not everybody takes your guidance. Not everybody wants your guidance. And so for this environment, it's like, I can put it out there. There's no judgment. If people enjoy the guest I have, or the message that I give in when I speak, or the training that I give to help them feel confident as a speaker and a coach, that's awesome. And it makes you feel so fulfilled. And I just wasn't getting that with all of the other political crap that goes on and everything, as in a corporate environment. I just like, I don't need to do that anymore. I'm in my sunset times, and I want to shine differently.
Love that. And, you know, back to our theme, I do think it's a bit of a shift into feminine brilliance where
Yeah.
we're no longer tied to a very masculine, hierarchical corporate system,
Yeah.
where, thank goodness, because of social media and podcasts and YouTube, we can actually generate our own entity and generate our own income and influence without being in control of someone's paycheck. And it really is about curiosity and contribution and the giving game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a totally different methodology than like I had an undergrad in marketing, and it was all very like fight, eat or be eaten, like
Mm-hmm.
And I do think like the how we look at business is shifting.
Mm-hmm.
And I, for one, am leaning heavily into the shift.
Yeah. Well, that is the whole premise of, what I do is I teach leading from the heart, the head, and the hands. And, and as you said, women naturally with our feminine energy understand it. But I do teach men because it can be adapted, right? But it's really, you
Are
have
you
to build
sure?
relationship. Yes, they can, I have proof. but it's about building those relationships. And when I started working way back when, the manager is like, I'm always right. It's my way or the highway. How my hammer's bigger than yours. And caring about your people's feelings or what their dreams and things were, and how can you help them, mentor them. That was always, well, no, it's the bottom line, which is important, understand. But if you have people, I used to get people say, well, we want you to lead this because people will do what you want. And we don't, you must have like some magic formula. It's like, no, I get to know my people. I get to start to let them fulfill what they need, and they'll do anything for you. And that's the thing that's always missing. You can't embarrass people and expect them to want to work with you. You can't degrade them and expect them to give you 110%.
Yeah.
You have to recognize their gifts. And it's not, everybody gets a prize. It's having those conversations, being vulnerable about your weaknesses, as well as having those tough conversations of when someone isn't meeting expectations and why. And I think, again, the brilliance of we women is that we are more tuned into the emotional intelligence of it, right? And to be able to do more. And I love that you want to transform the workplace dynamics, because you and I are on the same page. I just think that all of the workforces could be better if we just start to do things a little differently.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what inspired you to really step into this Salesforce RevOps chapter of your life?
Salesforce RevOps, and then it cut out. What did you say? Uh-oh.
The chapter of your life. Sorry.
Oh,
Are you internet is getting
my internet just
buffer?
just bloop, but I think we're back.
So what inspired your passion for Salesforce RevOps and this chapter of your life?
Yeah, it was when I started learning how to do things, there was just this obsessive monster inside me that took over. Like
Mhm.
I think looking back, it's called flow state, but in it, it felt like I was in second grade playing Super Mario Brothers for the first time. Like all time lost, had to make it to the next level. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's like just this intense curiosity. Um, and the online training, it's called Trailhead, that Salesforce, it's totally free, but it's a little bit clunky, a little bit buggy. And so in order to like, I have the ranger badge to get there is no, it's like not for the weak of heart.
Mhm.
Right. So I think it was the perfect combination of solving problems, building businesses, and figuring things out.
Yeah.
Right.
And not panicking.
And not panicking. Yeah. Like dealing with the frustration, of course, but not panicking. Um, and asking for getting support,
Yeah, yeah.
building community too at the same time. Um, and I became pretty lethal at it. Um, and I think when I pair it with, I don't know, bedside manner and
Mhm.
understanding and listening and being a sounding board, like I feel this magical contribution. Like
Mhm.
when my primary stakeholder at a client, when they get a promotion, that's the best thing ever.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like, if I can get someone else promoted because we built some fun thing that one of my clients now is on the executive leadership team at a very like old stodgy finance company, because we were able to build a really cool way to visualize a forecasted pipeline of what it would look like the portfolio companies, what the makeup would be
Mhm.
if this deal is closed versus this deal and when. So it could
Yes.
really manage the risk profile. That cool. He's now an executive vice president from like director, like whoop.
Awesome.
And it's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So good. So satisfying.
Mm.
So what's next for you?
Ooh. I'm in a chapter of entrepreneurship, like for real, for real. So I'm coming up on my second year of having the agency. I have my sights set on hitting 1 million in annual recurring revenue by October. And what it's going to take is like actually focusing on who I'm, like my team, who I'm,
Mhm.
not just who, but what they're doing,
Mhm.
how they're incentivized and compensated, making sure I have the right people in the right places for the right reasons. Um, which, and then also like having the discipline to create systems and hold people to their masterpieces,
Mhm.
because Vicki, it is much easier to let people do whatever they want, and then I just pick up the slack and like whatever. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
easier.
But you're
It's
not you're not making them better.
no, no. But I think the difference from where I am to where I want to be at the end of this chapter is it's a business builder.
Mhm. For
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, if the audience has enjoyed chatting with you as much as I have, then they might want to have that one-on-one. I'm going to share her contact information if you want to just grab a paper and pencil if you're just listening. As
Mm.
always, you should have been doing that from the very beginning, but we'll give you some slack. The website is activatethemagic.com. Activatethemagic.com. And on LinkedIn, it is her name, Jacki Leahy, sorry. And so that's JACKILEAHY.
Mhm.
Okay, so Jacki Leahy. And I'm going
Yeah.
to let Jacki talk to you about what you can find on her website And I love that she has the acronym ATM. So that's activate the magic, not she's not a money machine, although she could be for you. So I'll let her talk to you about that website.
Yeah, so of course we do month-to-month fractional support for earlier stage B2B tech companies who are in the Salesforce and HubSpot ecosystems. But beyond that, as we were talking about, I really am a stand for transformation and entrepreneurship and feminine brilliance.
That's
So
right.
I have I'm building 2 different free communities. One is called the Cauldron, and it's for go-to-market operators who might want to go solo or start their own agency. So we meet once a month, and again, it's free. And I'm also building Soul and Strategy. So that's soulandstrategy.com. And it's a free monthly mastermind sort of group coaching session for brilliant business women.
Awesome.
And you can find links to all of those things on my Linktree, which is magical.wiki/Linktree.
Excellent. Well, so fun chatting with you today. And I hope that the women out there that are listening to this have taken some great notes and will take advantage of all of the free things that you're having. To have a free coaching mastermind is an awesome thing. And it is often a springboard. So, you guys out there, please take advantage of these things. We love to help you. And Jacki and I are 2 people who like to connect you with people that can help and share our experience and wisdom. So it's fabulous to have her as a guest.
Thank you for having me, Vicki.
You're so welcome. And as always, I remind everyone that life is a journey and it's up to you to enjoy the ride. This is Vicki Noethling signing off.
Thank you for tuning into the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling, where we share impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Remember to visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast.